Oh yeah, Black Sun in the Hizzle, all for shizzle dizzle. We got an excellent show here today. What's going on, MD? What's going on? We're gonna give MD a minute. I think he's on the road. Let me shoot. There we go. Still a road warrior today. All right, y'all. So yeah, we got a show lined up. Good show lined up. We got three articles today, and MD, your mic is muted. I don't know if you can hear me. But yeah, we got three articles. We're gonna deal with some international news and see how the economy is faring. Well, the petrodollar. We're gonna get a little news from BRICS today. We're also gonna show. We definitely got to do May 10th. We got to definitely cover Putin's Victory Day parade. We definitely got to cover that, and um, then we're gonna cover tensions with Turkey with Erdogan with the Turkey's part of the EU, but there's some tension, so we're going to deal with that. In fact, I might go ahead and deal with that first because that seems. I mean, they're all interesting articles, but this one, um, I definitely want to get uh, MD's take on this, or should I? You know what? We'll deal with that last. We'll just go in the order. Like I said, we'll deal with the parade second, and we're going to deal with the Iran trade with BRICS. So let me read this article. Let me put a share screen up. Invite. Oh, no. That's not it. Okay, here we go. So we're going to window, share screen. Boom. And here we go with the first article. Okay, so the first article we got here is Iran's trade countries jumps. And this article is by RT at RT.com. And it says trades. Oh, let me blow this up just a little bit here. Let blow up just a little bit more. Let's come back just a little bit more. Okay, so trading goods other than crude oil between Iran and BRICS nations increased last year, according to the latest data release by the country's customs service. Tehran trade with Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa totaling nearly 48 billion tons with the value of more than 38 billion in the fiscal year of 2022 and 2023, which represents a 14% increase in terms of value of the fiscal year in Iran begins on March 21st and ends on March 20th of the following year. Coinciding with the Persian calendar year, China remains Iran's main trade partner among the BRICS nations, with trade reaching 35.5 million tons, worth over 30 billion, up 37.41%. India comes second with a trade of nearly 47%, and Russia is third. Trade with Brazil declined in both weight and value. South Africa's uh, was Iran's main trading partner on the African continent, with bilateral trade up by more than 23%, according to figures reported by the Tehran-based Daily Financial Tribune. The trade increase comes despite the maximum pressure sanctions campaign announced by the U.S. in 2018 over Tehran's nuclear program. The U.S. has also been pushing to seize more Iranian ships carrying crude to prevent the country's oil sales from rising. Iran applied to join BRICS last year with more than a dozen other nations having expressed interest in becoming part of the economical alliance. So let's keep going. Y'all want to take note of that? The bloc is working to develop a new currency. Y'all take note of that too. To stop using the U.S. dollar in trade, deals have also been settled in the national currencies of the trading countries. According to the recent report by Bloomberg, BRICS is set to surpass the G7, the bloc of developed economies in economic growth over the next 5 years. This comes after the Western sanctions effectively cut off Russia, a key member of the bloc, from the Western financial system and markets, and made it practically impossible for the country to settle trade agreements in the US dollar and the euro. Iran mainly exports crude oil and natural gas, which, according for over 80% of the country's export revenues. Among the exports are plastic, chemicals, iron, and fruit. Imported goods include machinery, cereals, electrical and electronic equipment, and pharmaceutical products. So, yeah, I wanted to read that and kind of just set the mood because, you have these BRICS countries, applying, they want to be part of BRICS. And yeah, it's becoming the new dominant currency as opposed to the petrodollar. And so you got Iran's economy boosting, Russia, India, China. So yeah, it's very interesting. I mean, you're looking at most of Asia, not only most of Asia, but I want to say, well, I guess we consider Russia part of Asia or just Eastern Europe. But I mean, it's a big. I mean, that's very. You're looking at. I mean, when you're looking at Asia, like say South America. No, you're looking at South Africa, China, Brazil, India, and Russia. I mean, these are major sections of the planet. Major sections of the planet, as opposed to you got the U.S., which is I mean, the petro. I mean, well, you got the petrodollar, which you got all through Europe, had through the Middle East, but now BRICS is on the rise, and so with that, the BRICS currency is going to end up being the dominant currency, and so this is really the key of why there's war, or why America would support Ukraine, being that they're trying to drain their resources. But again, the whole plan. I want to quote General. Was it Colonel? Let me look up his name, because they were saying that how they had a plan A and plan B. Plan A was to drain Russia's resources and drain their economy, and hopefully they were hoping that basically there would be like a similar situation like in the USSR, where economically the country had collapsed. But now you got these countries, which most like, I mean, let me just give a idea of where, like, okay, if you guys remember Saddam Hussein, oh no, not Saddam, I'm sorry, Gaddafi, and he tried to back away from the American dollar and create a currency independent of that, and he was killed. So you're looking at now countries doing that with BRICS, and by, like I said, you're looking at a big block. You're looking at, again, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. That's, I want to say that's 3/4 of the world right there. 3/4 of the nations. So I mean, yeah, South America. Well, wait, okay, well, Brazil, South Africa, those are two big chunks right there. Russia, of course, is a big chunk. India, big chunk. China, yeah, those are. I mean, damn, that's pretty much the world. That's pretty much the world. So yeah, we're looking at the world changing its economy. So yeah, y'all just keep that in mind. And this is what the world war is all about. I mean, well, I said world war, but it's conflict. But you might as well call it a world war because the EU is trying to support Ukraine, you know, and as the leaked documents say that it's pretty much a failed. I was process of letting hopped on, but realized you got it for now. Okay, so he's way out in the country, so he's gonna I'm gonna have to hold it down. So yeah, that's what we're looking at. Let me send an invite. Since MD, yeah, he's having a little trouble. He's way out in the country. So yeah. So yeah, he's out in the country, y'all. So yeah, shout out to MD. All right, I'm gonna read the next article. So Victory Day here. Let me share screen again. Share screen. What we got here? Window. Okay, so now we got the victory. Okay, so let me this article's by the Business Insider. And what we got here, we got let me blow up the screen just a little bit here. Let's go to 150. And it says Putin accuses the West of creating Nazis while comparing the war in Ukraine to World War II in what experts are calling a perversion of history. So, Russian President Vladimir Putin used his Victory Day speech Tuesday to rant against the West, claiming it had created a cult of Nazism. At the parade in Russia, capital marketing the anniversary of the end of the World War II, Putin said the Russian invasion of Ukraine was an extension of the Soviet Union's battle against fascism. So, as y'all know, you guys are going to have to look up the Ossoffs. The Ossoffs, when you go back in history, when you learn about Banderas, he was in the Third Reich, and a lot of the Nazis fled to Ukraine. So they have resurrected Banderas and his ideology of Nazism. So that's what Putin's referring to. So let's keep it moving. It said, let's scroll down. His comments came just hours after Russia sent a barrage of missiles towards Ukraine's cities, including Kiev. We see that in a number of countries, they are destroying the memories of the Soviet fighters. To the great generals, they are creating a real cult of Nazism. And they are trying to delete the memory of real heroes, Putin told the crowds gathering in the Red Square. He said that the mocking of the memory of the past generations is a real crime. Putin has sought to portray the war in Ukraine as a battle against Western powers who he claims are determined to destroy Russia. He has also basically claimed that Ukrainian government is led by Nazis. Total civilization is again at the decisive turning point. A real war has been unleashed against our motherland, he said during the parade in Moscow on Tuesday. The West forgot who defeated the Nazis, he said. That's true. Y'all do know it was Stalin who defeated the Nazis. So yeah, very true statement. Let's keep it moving. The Kremlin initially sought to portray the invasion as a limited special military operation aimed at eliminating Ukraine's government, but amid a series of battlefield setbacks and steep casualty rates, Kremlin propagandists have ramped up their rhetoric. In recent months, they have invoked comparisons to Russia battle against the invasion by Nazi Germany in 1941. During the war, Russia was allied against fascist powers with Western powers, including UK and US. In his speech Tuesday, Putin claimed that Western globalist elites were spreading hatred of Russia while the Ukrainian people had become hostages to a state coup. So as y'all know, the referendum was made in Donetsk and Luhansk and Crimea the same day that they had overthrew. Yeah, so basically they had a coup and they overthrew the president. And basically Luhansk, the Republic of Luhansk, Republic of Donetsk, and Republic of Crimea were prepared. And so analysts say that Putin's claims were a distortion of history and were unlikely to be accepted by most Russians. Today, Russia celebrates Victory Day, looking back to the immense sacrifice the Soviet people made to defeat the Nazis. All the while, Putin's forces wreaked Nazi-like destruction on Bakhmut and other Ukrainian towns, tweeted John O'Brennan, a professor of European politics at Maynooth University in Ireland, referring to Russia attacks that reduced some Ukrainian cities to rubble. His story is that Russia is continuing to the good work of the Second World War, and he is propagandists have been saying for some time now that effectively the Second World War was Russia against the rest, was against the West. Dominique Waghorn, Sky News International editor, said in his analysis of the speech. They've even said that the West created Nazis, he added, calling it a contextual perversion of the distortion of history. Mark Gallietti, an expert on Russian military, described Putin's speech on the Time Radio as short and sour and as really the last card he can play with the Russian people by portraying the Ukraine war as a threat on the scale of that Russia had faced in World War II. So scroll down. In remarks to Politico in February, a Russian publisher said that the Kremlin's narratives about the West predated the invasion. Long before February last year, people were already telling us we are being dragged into a war by the West, which we don't want, but there is no retreating from. Denis Volkov, director of the Independence Pollster Levada Center, told the outlet. And that is it. I mean, yeah, so Putin's basically commemorating the victory that the Soviet Union had over the Nazis, over Nazi Germany with Hitler. And if y'all don't know, that was Stalin's war, And he, with the help of course, the UK and US defeated Hitler. And again, you had a lot of European nations in the beginning where actually Stalin and Hitler were, I guess you want to call it what, semi-allies. I don't know if you want to really or call it that. But then Hitler, of course, turned on Stalin and then, tried to invade Moscow. Or was it St. Petersburg? St. Petersburg, or was it Moscow? Yeah, he tried. No, yeah, he tried to invade Moscow. Yeah, so basically, Putin's commemorating that, and he's saying, "Look, we're fighting Nazis basically again over in Ukraine." So, yeah. So let's get started with the next article here. Let's see. Let's see the next article here. We'll do the next article. Do a share screen. Okay, so this article is by the New York Times, and the headline: amid tensions with U.S., Erdogan praises ties with Russia. Now, remember we talked about BRICS in the first article. You know how the new currency is starting to rise, and now there's being a shift. So now let's see what this article says. So it says meeting with President Vladimir Putin, President Recep Tayyip Erdogan of Turkey. He said there is no path back from Turkey-Russia military deals opposed by the West. Moscow, relations between President Recep Erdogan and Biden administration may be frayed, but on Wednesday, the Turkish leader made abundantly clear his access to an alternative partner for trade and military deals, President Vladimir Putin of Russia. At a 3-hour meeting in the Black Sea resort city of Sochi, Russia, the first for the two presidents in more than a year, Mr. Putin and Mr. Erdogan discussed weapons deals, trades, and a nuclear reactor Russia in building in Turkey. Oh, that's big. Okay. Ooh, let's go down. Scroll down. Okay, Turkey and Russia have been both friends on energy and arms deals and enemies in multiple Middle Eastern wars through mercenaries and proxies. The countries are on opposite sides of the wars in Syria and Libya, while both Turkey and Russia troops are serving as peacekeepers in the conflict of Nagorno-Karabakh. Much of Mr. Erdogan's diplomacy with Russia is interpreted as a bargaining position, threatening the United States by cozying up with Mr. Putin, but creating distance when he is seeking something from Washington. In an interview with editors of the New York Times last week on the sidelines of the annual meeting of the United Nations, Mr. Erdogan rejected suggestions that he had undermined NATO, the primary Western military alliance, by purchasing a sophisticated Russian missile system. Those S-400 missiles, arms experts say, are designed to shoot down NATO aircraft. We buy our own weapons, Mr. Erdogan said, asserting that both the NATO's Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg and President Donald J. Trump had reaffirmed Turkey's right to choose arms supplier. Had the Americans sold Turkey a Patriot missile defense system, Mr. Erdogan said he would not have had to buy S-400s. As if Turkey's actions had been worth the frictions caused with the United States, Mr. Erdogan appeared unapologetic. I think it was worth it, he said. We can strengthen our defenses as we please. Mr. Erdogan said the U.S.-Turkish relations remain fundamentally important. Turkey has long U.S. ties. He said this will be reinforced and has to be protected. On Wednesday, the Turkish leader used the meeting with Mr. Putin as a platform for praising the military deals with Russia. The cooperation has gone far enough, he said, with Mr. Putin by his side, that there is no path back in this sphere. The deal for the S-400 set off alarms in Washington, which subsequently canceled Turkey's purchase on the next generation F-35 warplanes in 2019, and the following year imposed economic and travel sanctions. Nevertheless, Mr. Erdogan has reinforced his intentions to purchase a second batch of S-400s. Highlighting the fallout with the United States, not the geopolitical standoffs, seem to take precedence Wednesday for both leaders. In the public portion of their meeting, Mr. Putin, whose overarching foreign policy goal is to undermine NATO and the European Union, only briefly mentioned cooperation in the three conflicts where Turkey and Russia are on opposing sides. Mr. Erdogan often explained the relationship with Russia as necessarily for a regional power such as Turkey, and has questioned why the United States should dictate Turkey's bilateral relationships. Russia is building Turkey's first nuclear power station and opened a gas pipeline to Turkey under the Black Sea. At Wednesday's meeting, Mr. Putin praised both energy deals and said the alignment with Russia was insulating Turkey from high gas prices in Europe. Now, when we see somewhat difficult turbulence persists in the European gas market, Turkey feels absolutely confident and stable, Mr. Putin said. Despite Mr. Putin's remarks, natural gas prices have soared on global markets. Y'all peep that. Gas prices have soared on global markets, not just in Europe, and it is not clear that any arrangements with Russia will give Mr. Erdogan the relief he was seeking and badly needs. The meeting came amid signs that Syria and Russia are preparing a new offensive against Turkish-backed rebels in Idlib, the last rebel-held region of Syria, after an 18-month truce. And in Libya, the Turkey deployed hundreds of soldiers and Syrian militants to prop up the government of National Accord, while a Russian mercenary group, Wagner, backed the opposing side, led by the General Khalif Haftar. Ahead of Wednesday meeting, Mr. Erdogan stressed that the peace in Syria was of the greatest importance amongst the issue between them, emphasizing that he wanted to discuss not only the immediate situation of Idlib, but also to find a way to end the war overall. Nearly 4 million people are living in the remaining rebel-held part of Idlib, and Mr. Erdogan is particularly concerned to prevent an offensive that would send a wave of displaced Syrians towards the border. Turkey is already host for 4 million refugees, the majority of the Syrians, and the popular mood amid an economic downturn with high unemployment and inflation has turned against them. Mr. Putin, in his public comments, at least passed quickly over these issues. On the international arena, we cooperate fairly successfully, and I mean in Syria in our coordinated position on Libya, he said. Since a dangerous clash in 2015 when Turkey shot down a Russian plane on its southern border with Syria, Mr. Erdogan had carefully cultivated a relationship with Mr. Putin, meeting him in person often several times a year, despite the expense for his longstanding alliance with NATO and the United States. Kane Eldemir, the director of Turkey program at the Foundation for Defense of Democracies in Washington, and a former opposition member of Turkey's parliament, said Mr. Erdogan plans to buy more S-400 missiles should be a wake-up call for the Biden administration. The Turkish president will continue to play a spoiler role within NATO and provide Putin further opportunities to undermine the transatlantic alliance and its values. He said in an email comment, he added that Turkey's offer to play a role in Afghanistan after the U.S. withdrawal was amid also at creating a dependence that would reduce any pushback from Washington. Mr. Erdogan was traveling to Sochi with his weakest hand, yet in the pair's 19-year relationship, Karim has a lecture in Turkish-Russian relations at Moscow University, wrote in a personal blog. Not only is he desperate for stall of offensive of Habib, but he also badly needs a favorable deal to purchase natural gas from Russia as world prices are spiking, Mr. Has wrote. Erdogan may have to buy the second part of S-400s for the sake of his personal survival, he said. When the meeting ended without a briefing the journalists, Mr. Haas concluded that Mr. Erdogan was leaving empty-handed. In my opinion, Erdogan did not get what he expected, he wrote on Twitter. While Mr. Erdogan has been seeking to repair relations with the United States and the European Union, he acknowledged recently a coolness from President Biden. In my 19-year-long life as prime minister and president, the point we arrived in our relationship with the United States is not good, he told the Turkish news media. In briefing, I have worked well with Bush Jr., with Mr. Obama, and Mr. Trump, but I can't say we have a good start with Mr. Biden. I wonder why. And Andrew Camus, a reporter. Okay, so that's it right there, y'all. So Biden, not so good, man. Not so good doing having good relations with Erdogan in Turkey. Had a good relationship with Trump, had a good relationship with Bush, had a good relationship with Biden, but I'm sorry. Let me back it up. Erdogan had a good relationship with Bush, Obama, Trump, but not such a good relationship with Biden. Are we surprised by that, y'all? MD, how's your mic? Is your mic good now, or are you still out and about in the country? Yeah, I think his mic is still bad. So, yeah, y'all, that's it, man. So, yeah, that's the news, international news for this week. And, like I said, there's a lot going on. Like I said, there's tensions with Erdogan, and things are kind of shaky. It's like things are shifting where Turkey, because, Turkey is a part of NATO. But, they're still dealing with Russia. Will they come over to the BRICS? Will they start dealing, doing business, Will they honor the sanctions? Will they honor U.S. sanctions? I don't think so. But like I said, and this is why last night when Trump talked about, he can make deals happen real quick. He can shift things because, Biden, Trump called him stupid last night. He called the Biden administration, all them people stupid because they got us in a situation, like I said, the dollar's falling. The the thing is collapsing. Then they got us in this war with Ukraine that we know we can't win. The dang leaked documents have revealed that. And so, yeah, that's why, y'all go back and look at the town hall. We played the town hall last night, and Trump talked about a lot of this, man. So, yeah, the international, uh, Biden's foreign policy is it's shit, man. It's straight shit. We're about to lose an ally over in Turkey, a NATO member. So is this what's to come? Because they're part, like I said, Turkey is a part of NATO. Will they start dealing with BRICS? Will they start a trend? Will other nations start to kind of come over and deal with BRICS? Because it's right there. The dollar and the BRICS is coming like this. It's doing like this. It's doing like this, y'all. It's doing like that. So you got Turkey. That's pretty much. I don't know. I guess I think MD said that's part of Turkey. I guess that's considered the Mediterranean. But can you imagine that block being taken over by BRICS? Like I said, they've already got South America, Brazil, South Africa, China, Iran. So yeah, they're creating a very powerful bloc while the die is falling. So, can we get Trump up in there in time to kind of level things back, kind of calm it down, or has Biden got us so far down the rabbit hole to where we can't reach back out economically, man? So yeah, this is what we're facing. So yeah, I would suggest people look very closely. Like I said, if you want to see a trend, look very closely at how things are going with Turkey, with Erdogan. They're really, like I said, they've had like little issues with Russia, but our relationship, because of Biden, has been very shaky. So, like I said, we could see a shift. We could see a definite shift, man. So yeah, hey. So yeah, and like I said, this commemorates the just recapping like some of the other articles. This is recapping the anniversary, V-Day. And yeah, Putin did ramp up and hit some more key cities, including, they said, Kiev. So what I didn't read, I was going to do an article on the situation with Zelensky. Zelensky said he is going to postpone the spring offensive. Now, mind y'all, it is the middle of May. This is the middle of May, right? And in the middle of May, there's supposed to be a spring offensive. Now, if I'm not mistaken, June, that's pretty much starts summer. So I think that pretty much scratches the plan of a spring offensive. I don't think there's going to be, we're already in the middle of May, and they say they're going to postpone a spring offensive. So yeah, I'm just waiting for the day of when goddamn Zelensky decides, you know what, let's sit down and have some peace talks. But no, he's still talking this crazy talk because I guess somebody in the U.S., Victoria Nuland, Anthony Blinken, and the rest of the Biden administration, you put a battery in a man's back, but you're not supplying him weapons. You put a battery in the man's back, but you're not supplying him weapons. Where they do that at? Where they do that at, man? Only in America. Only under the Biden administration do they do some nonsense like that. Let me see if I can pull something up here real quick, you guys. Okay, okay. I wanted to check something out here real quick. But yeah, um, y'all. Let me put this over here. Paste. Wait a minute, hold up. Glasses, contacts, see this. Oh, I'm sorry, I got damn ads on my other channel. God dang. Skip ad. Okay, y'all. Okay. So I wanted to make sure. Yeah, we're getting ads over there in Rumble. So yeah, that's basically it, y'all. I'm gonna and let's recap the first article. Like I said, the first article shows now, like I said, not only do we got, like I said, we're gonna keep a close eye on Turkey because, like I said, Turkey's part of NATO. But you're seeing how they sliding over, and that's why when I read the first article, I showed you how the economy of Iran was actually booming, just like when I read before that the economy of Russian was booming. And this is after the sanctions. This is after the sanction. And if I'm not mistaken, I don't know if I have time to look it up. I believe America had sanctions on Iran. Let's look that up. Let's look it up. Let's hold on. Let's look this up. Sanctions on Iran. Let me fact check real quick, y'all. Sanctions on Iran, because I'm pretty sure. Okay, so it says Iran sanctions, United States departments, March 2000. Yes, there we go. Target sanction evasion network billing of Iran's regime, marketing International Women's Day, sanctions, treasure sanctions, Iran's officials. Yep. So you got all these nations that fall under U.S. Sanctions, and they're coming together. Imagine that. Imagine all the nations that the Biden administration is putting sanction on, and they're coming together. Whoever would have saw that? I'm sure Trump would have saw that. But Biden, I don't know who's advising him. I mean, like you said, you got people like idiots like Anthony Blinken and Victoria Nuland. Nuland, her dumb ass is talking about goddamn, we could take Crimea, or we can bomb and do like this is the type of advice Biden is getting. So again, this is the president. This is Joe Biden on foreign policy. And as you know, foreign policy affects us. It affects how we move because our dollar, once upon a time, being the petrodollar, was the dominant currency. So it's going to be interesting again. We will see in 2023 or 2024. You're going to see in a couple of months if President Trump gets elected, which I hope he does, because like I said, he talked about the economy last night, and let's see, man, because we're, like I said, Biden has got us, our economy shaken. And again, like I said, these sanctions on these other countries, they're coming together and they're actually bolstering BRICS and bolstering their economy. So like I said, Russia, who is a sanctioned country by the U.S., boosted economy. Iran, which is a sanctioned country by the U.S., boosted economy. It's just that simple, y'all. So, all right, y'all, we about 45 minutes in. We had a short show today. Shout out to MD, man, and shout out to y'all. I'm about to close it out, and we're going to be back here on Sunday with Nature Mom. So with that being said, we out, y'all. Peace.